Hi, Winifred. Good evening and welcome to the BlueSitron Podcast. It's just amazing to have you here. How are you?
Oh, good evening, Bim. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really honored that you'd like to talk to me, and it's a wonderful evening, and really, really glad we managed to connect in these busy times.
I know. Busy and also crazy times, with the whole COVID situation. But I don't know if we're going to have to live with it, but some economies are already opening up. I hear UK is going to start allowing people to travel. I don't know, but this is what's in the news sometime mid-July. I guess the same for Norway, I suppose. And some countries are already opened up, I think. I don't know.
Yes. Well, we are seeing some movements in mobility in a lot of countries, but this will depend on whether or not there is a second wave.
Right. Well, we'll see. Considering the weather has been amazing lately, in the UK, a lot of people have been going to Brighton and Bournemouth and just chilling by the beach, and it's crazy. So we're looking to see what's going to happen, if there's definitely going to be a second wave or not. But we'll keep our fingers crossed on that. So Winifred, thank you for joining us again here at the BlueSitron. So I have a few questions to definitely ask you, but before I do that, I'd like you to introduce yourself to our listeners. Who are you? Who is Winifred Johansson? Who is she? Tell us.
Oh dear, that's a complicated question. I'll keep it very simple. I'm Winifred. I'm a daughter of Africa, Ugandan born and raised. I live in Norway. Married. I've got 3 kids and 2 dogs. What can I say? That's simple me. And background, I'm a mechanical engineer in applied mechanics of solids. Basically, I'm good at tearing things apart. That's my natural talent.
That's impressive. Yeah, good at tearing things apart. Okay, we'll take that. So, mechanical engineer.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Yes.
So, but being a mechanical engineer, have you been? I mean, what has your career path been, and why did you choose that route? If you don't mind asking.
Growing up, I thought I wanted to be a doctor. Well, African parents, if you're not a doctor, you have to be a lawyer.
Typical African parents, I know.
Yes. And when I had my O levels, I got admitted for A levels. That's the English system in most of African countries. I was set to do PCB, physics, chemistry, biology, which is the route towards medicine. And then what happened was I moved to Norway, and instead of going to PCB, which would have been a natural thing to do in A levels, I restarted my education through the Norwegian system. And in the process, actually discovered that I did not want to be a doctor. I love people, but I was not able to separate myself from other people's pain. I volunteered often as a member of the Red Cross, and I realized this wasn't really anything for me. And at the same time, I had this passion for mechanics. When I was 15, 16, I could dismantle an engine just with very simple tools. I understood how things sat together and why, and it was a natural. It was more like the natural thing for me to do. So mechanical engineering seemed the practical thing to do. And it wasn't a direct route, I should say. Actually, when I joined the university, I was supposed to do petroleum engineering because this is Norway and there's a lot of money in petroleum. Well, that's more what my mother thought would be useful.
Yeah.
And I would go for these lectures and I'm sleeping through geology and rocks and minerals. I could not stand the sight of a stone.
I can totally relate with that.
Yes. So eventually I went and spoke to one of the lecturers who noticed that I was awake in his class while everybody was asleep, and I was sleeping in geology. And he said, you know what, I think you're in the wrong faculty. I think you're actually a mechanical engineer. And it all made sense. And I changed.
Oh my days.
And that's how so I ended up where
wow.
So it wasn't straightforward. And well, I haven't regretted that decision.
That's really good. That's really good. I can't stop thinking about, sleeping in class during the whole rocks and all sort of, geological, science studies. That's just, I totally agree with you. Yeah. I think I had that same feeling in secondary school, actually. No, I wasn't sleeping enough, but I just found it a little bit boring. But guess what? I am in the oil and gas industry, just like yourself. I mean, you're in the energy space, which is where I am as well, because we don't do just oil and gas anymore. In my company, we are now more into the energy world. But by energy world, I mean including renewables. But in any case, so this is about you. And okay, and Winifred, have you, channeled your career path within that, mechanical space so far since you left university?
Yes and no.
Okay.
In my during my last year, actually I took a study exchange program. So I went from Trondheim to Politecnico di Milano in Italy, and while I was there, we had this whole situation around where Norway was going through an economic crisis, laid off, and Sweden was going through a boom. So instead of coming back to Norway as a student and risking to compete with overly qualified people for the fewer jobs that were, I actually got a contract to work with cars. So I started off my career in something that was quite applicable for what I was doing, designing the base engine. I started off as working with sealing components, gaskets and all that. So I know how engines work as well. And I did that. I worked in the car industry for 7 years doing different things. I did crash analysis. I did crankcase ventilation. I did fasteners, the standards, and all that. So I managed to very much of what as an engineer. And then at some point we decided we wanted to come back to Norway. I think I've sent more than 2-3 applications and landed on an oil and gas job, which was again very relevant. I was doing mechanical testing, qualification, verification of subsea control umbilicals, so I could use the science.
Right.
Yes. So I operated in that space again for 4 years, but the more advanced testing or structured or standardized, the more I became, aware of the importance of my technical background in a commercial setting. So more and more, I was communicating with the clients, with the oil majors, trying to help them understand what testing they needed to do to verify or qualify a certain product for a certain water depth or seabed conditions, and so on and so forth. One day a headhunter called me and presented a job, which was as a sales manager, and that particular day, I think I had my head screwed the other way, and I approached it with an open attitude, and went sales and marketing. So while I left the engineering, the core engineering, to go into a more commercial role, my technical background remained fundamental, because I could understand my clients' needs. I could understand the technological aspect of what we were trying to put on the table. It made me credible, and it made what we were trying to sell easier to sell. So yes, I did leave my technical background in one way, but in another sense, I used it even more, because I could Yeah, exactly. So I can say that I really cherished the background, and I was in that commercial space for 8 years, and as
Wow.
with a lot of success, I should say, around the world, really. And then one day, as luck has it, another headhunter calls me and invites me to go talk to Quantafuel, where I am now. And this was a less technical job. I think this is the first time I can really say I'm leaving my technical role in a more in a more serious manner. Yeah.
All right. Winifred, because I know you, I can tell you're trying to be humble. You're so doing a fantastic job trying to be humble, because I personally, for our listeners' benefit, I know Winifred and I know the things that she's done. This woman has made things happen with the big companies that she's worked for in Norway and landed major contracts in the African continent. So her commercial role, I don't even think I can step up to her level, because Winifred, I know you're being humble, so that's okay. It's totally okay to be humble. You really have been successful at the commercial role, and as you said, having that technical background was really helpful. It was a catalyst to the success, because you can tell what the client needs, what the customers need. And that's how to land a sales deal. And, for our listeners that are in sales or people that are looking to get into the sales career, it's not all about, the push effect, but the pull effect. When you do understand what your client needs, it just makes the entire sales process, an easy peasy one, really. So, yeah. And Winifred, as a mechanical engineer, this is not a route a lot of young ladies go through. You and I know that the energy world, the energy industry, of course, is more filled up with men. There are less women, and even more so would be the core engineering side of things. And you've gone through that, being a mechanical engineer by training. I'm guessing you were probably the only girl, or maybe there are 2 or 3 of you in the entire class in university. Am I correct to assume that?
Well, when I started in petroleum technology, there were quite a few girls in the class.
Right.
And then when I went over to applied mechanics, I don't think that we were as many as 5 girls.
Wow.
The numbers dropped. And when I went to Politecnico di Milano as an exchange student, I think we were 82, and out of the 82, we were 2 girls.
Oh, and you were the only black as usual, right?
I was the only black in the polytechnics, and as far as I know, I was actually the first black Norwegian female or African girl to enroll for an engineering degree at the NTH. That's what it was called then.
It's now NTNU, right?
Yes, and the following year there was another lady that joined in from the chemistry department, and that was really lovely. Yes, oil and gas is engineering, at least mechanical engineering, is predominantly a male world, and in my situation, it's been a very male, white world, and work-wise, it's a very male, white, middle-aged old world.
we both know that. Yeah, this is what we experience. Yes.
So I'm used to sticking out like weed, like a dandelion in a pristine lawn. There's that head that sticks out, and it's what it is.
I know. I was saying to, I think I was saying to a friend recently, just early February before the whole COVID situation started, there was the IP Week, International Petroleum Week took place in London, and this company, there are a lot of companies that get to do a whole lot of things during that period as well. And we were invited by this, private sort of company that's, they do events, they do a lot of talks and things like that. So my company was invited over, where we gave a presentation on our view of, the African market going forward, and a lot of, at the time, COVID wasn't an issue, but it was more of OPEC plus conversation, and the energy transition, which is still a topic, up till now. For the benefit of people listening, I'm wondering what OPEC plus is. So OPEC is oil, petroleum exporting countries. That would be Saudi, Nigeria, Angola, and a few others. The plus side is Russia. So Russia is not part of OPEC, but they will all come to the table to have discussions. So yes, so there was that going on. And long story short, in the room for a conversation or presentation that was purely African focused, there were just 3 of us that were actually Africans. 3 of us, and and that would be me, another lady who was actually working with Halliburton at the time, but she's moved on now, and another guy. I don't know who he was with. I don't know what company he was with, but yeah, and the room was, I think, probably about 200 people. So yes, oil and gas is very much like that. And women in total, I don't think we were up to 5. So yes, and the other lady that was African happened to be Nigerian as well, just like myself. So I agree with you. We really do stick out in the industry, but that's interesting. Anyway, Winifred, there's still a lot of questions I want to ask, but I'm not going to, make it too difficult. Yeah. You wanted to say something?
Go on. No, I just wanted to say, in most of the contracts that I've negotiated, I'm in most cases the only Black person around, and I was very, very visible when I was handling the Asia Pacific. Tall, Black, ahead over everybody else. And female. It was scary.
Oh my God, that is hilarious. Honestly. Oh yeah. We know this experience, but yeah, yours is even probably a whole lot more than mine, because I've focused on the African market. So, I haven't had any reason to actually, be focused on on the APAC side. My company tends to want people to be from a region, to focus on a region. But anyway, the side of business in the oil industry, in the energy space, was also slightly different. So that's fine. So Winifred, my goodness. Yeah, I know where you are now. You are the chairperson of the company. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because I know you're a chairperson of your current company. You're also a board member of another company. Am I correct at this, or I'm wrong?
Okay, I'm the Senior Vice President for Legal and Commercial at Quantafuel AS. That's the parent company in Norway. And I am the chairperson for Quantafuel APS, which is the daughter company, our Danish entity, where our production facility is. And I have also recently joined Partner Africa as on the board of trustees. So yes, Partner Africa officially has their first Black trustee.
Wow. Okay.
I'm really excited to be joining Partner.
Lovely.
I believe in the vision and the goals, and I hope I can be of use there with deep roots in Africa. So yes, that's what I do. And in my free time, I am also a pro bono advisor to venture and entrepreneurship, venture capital, a VC, whatever what is it's called these days.
Yeah.
That's called Antler. That's working basically with supporting ideas, entrepreneurial ideas it's an incubator, basically support the ideas to the entrepreneurs to mature the idea and go out to seek funding from venture capital.
Right.
So that's that's a bit of what I do.
Oh, wow. And you are a mother of 3. The good thing is your kids they're grown now, so you have even slightly more time to do as much as you possibly can. But I do know you personally. You're also a workaholic, and oh my goodness, you you make things happen. That's for sure. I know you're not one to do things in half measure. So yeah, we look up to women like you. It's really, really amazing. I had something I wanted to ask you in mind, but I'm just sort of blown away because I mean you're doing things in such a way that people's perception of we African women, I don't want to say people's perception, but we all know that there's always that ceiling for, especially in the West, there's some sort of ceiling for Black people in general, but then a Black woman, but perhaps also because you're also Norwegian, but this has nothing to do with your nationality. This is all about you, clearly, because anyone can be from anywhere. This is all about you.
Yes, this is about me. It's true. I don't like doing things in half measure, and I like to move things. I think I usually say I'm a shadow operator. I want my actions to speak for themselves, and I want to create results. It's not because it is, it's nice to create results, but I feel it's a call that I've been fortunate to be where I am, to have the opportunities that I have, but that gives me a responsibility as well. There is nothing special about me. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I came to Norway as an immigrant. I did not know the language. Within 2 years, I'm in the best technical university in the country. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And
Norwegian is not the easiest of languages to learn. I can say that for free because I speak it to an extent. So yeah, it's not. Go on, Winifred.
I want to be like the rebel that bring down the hood. Basically, okay. If this is the high tower of learning, I've been there. So my sisters can walk in. There isn't supposed to be barrier there that because you're born Black, you're born poor, you're born a woman, you're born an immigrant, or you're born to these parents, or you have this and that. I think we need to embrace and I'm talking to our young women out there, to be brave. If you set your mind to do something, you can do it. And whatever you see as obstacles, those are actually your superpowers that should be able to push you forward. I'm stubborn. I don't quit. And maybe that is my superpower. So when I set my mind to this and say, I'm going to do engineering. In 2 years I'm going to be in the university, so help me God. And I do it. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. But everybody should give themselves a chance to try to give yourself a fair chance. And don't listen to everybody. Everybody will have an opinion. No, women don't do this. Women don't do this. Women don't climb trees. I've been climbing trees quite recently.
That I can agree to. Oh dear.
In my African language, which is Achole, I come from northern Uganda. There's a saying that when you sit in the same place for too long, the millipede is going to move into your anus. Excuse my French. What the saying is telling you is, if you you're seated for too long, how do you grow? You root.
Yes. Yeah.
Part of the space, part of the environment. So your cavities become a natural point of the earth. If I have any regrets, I think my regrets, I've stayed in the same workspace for very long. And that is a mentality that I think I had before. You're taught to be loyal, you're taught to give a company your whole, and it's almost like you fall in love with the jobs that you're doing, so you stay too long. And the danger of staying too long is you become stagnant, you impede your own growth. So if I can, from my own story, advise anybody, 8 years in one job or in one role, even if you're changing clients, is a bit much. Be brave enough to change, because change may be painful, but without change, you cannot grow,
Absolutely.
Even a snake has
that's
to
important.
In to grow. And we need to take that on board. At least that is what I've learned in my own world. And I think as young women, we are too often taught to be humble and accepting, and we are not encouraged to be competitive. Competitive sports for the boys, and it's supposed to be rough and everything. If you have a chance, you have a daughter, or you yourself have the possibility, join a competitive sport, because it teaches you so much. You learn team spirit, you learn to build trust or know when not to trust an individual in a team. You quickly identify what are weak traits, what are strong traits, when you need to back up a certain player, when you need to send out dynamics, because a lot of times in the business world, that's how things really are. And the competitive sports teaches you this drive, when not to quit, because it's not always going to be fun. It's going to be painful at times. Sometimes it's lonely as heck, in a fast-paced world. You're traveling a lot, you miss the family, you miss the kids, you're in a hotel now, you're wondering, where in God's earth am I? You're possibly sitting and eating alone. A lot of times it will be difficult. But when you have that mindset and you know what your goal is, you fight on and you will succeed. So competitiveness that you can instill in yourself from sports, from group activities, is really, really important. And what else can I, from my own world and my own experience? Yes, I have a master's in mechanical engineering. I have an MBA, and
Winifred, we lost you.
So I could actually say I'm overly qualified.
We lost a bit of that. Yes, you after the MBA, you have something else.
Okay, I'm pursuing a PhD. So in most cases, one would say I'm overly qualified for a lot of things, which is possibly true. But I think it's a desire to grow, to learn. You can never stop learning, because when you stop learning, you become stagnant. But at the same time, do not use it as a tool for procrastination or perfectionism. And I want to reach out to our ladies who have ideas, entrepreneurial ideas, business ideas. Don't get lost in the perfectionism world. I just want to polish it before I can launch it, and I want to just make it better, then I will send it out. The longer you wait, the more chance your idea is going to get obsolete. So be brave, dare to move. If you have a product out there that you want to launch it. You will always improve the product. And while you are launching it, you will also see how is this goods or how is this service being received by the users, and how can I improve it? Because you could be sitting on an idea and trying to improve it, and yet that is not how it's perceived.
Exactly.
By those who have to buy it.
Exactly.
So from my own experience and from the advice that I give entrepreneurs, perfectionism is so overrated.
Okay.
Be brave. Get your ideas out there. You will fail, so what? You dust yourself up. That's just an experience, and you move.
Wow.
So self-courage and grit and grind.
Thank you so much, Winifred. My goodness, I had other questions to ask you, but I think you've answered it all. I was gonna ask you what your next challenges and all of that. You've mentioned that you're currently running your PhD, and you've given so much advice to the young ladies. And I mean, this is not just for the young ladies. Anyone listening, you could be a guy as well. You could be a young man, and you've got women in your life. You've got your sisters, you've got your cousins, you've got your friends, and you've got you. You can also learn from this. So, I mean, like Winifred just said to us, dare to move, grow, do something, don't stay stagnant. If you stay stagnant, you literally become obsolete before you become obsolete, so that's
move into your backside if you don't move.
Exactly.
you be cavity. That's what they actually say. So keep moving.
Keep moving. Wow, Winifred, this is amazing. Well, thank you so much. Before I let you go, though, I know you've given a lot of advice already, but one more thing.
Okay.
Who's the woman behind all of this? You've already told us your name. You've told us where you come from, but there's got to be something else. Who's the woman behind all this? Who is she? Who's Winifred? Tell us.
I
know that's a difficult question, but come on, tell us.
Winifred is stubborn and silly, and I don't take life too seriously, and I laugh a lot at myself, and I always tell others, if I cannot be an example, let me at least be a warning. So
I love that.
To learn where I have failed, and we should not, and mistakes are not to be patented. That's another one of mine. Yeah. So
I like that. Mistakes are not to be patented. I like that. Oh dear, Winifred, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've had a very nice and enjoyable evening with you. With this conversation, it's been educative, it's been enlightening, it's been eye-opening as well. And I'm really, really hoping that our listeners, young women, young men, women that are in their middle-aged, older women, older men, whoever is listening, please learn from what Winifred has discussed with us tonight. There's no such thing as doing things in half measure, but that's also her, and mistakes are not to be patented, meaning make the mistakes and dust yourself up, get up and do it again, and dare to move, get going, make things happen. Not all of us are going to be dismantling engines like Winifred, but whatever it is you're doing, just get it going and don't procrastinate. Just make it happen. Yes. Winifred, thank you so much. We've had an amazing time with you this evening.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Have a lovely evening. And to our listeners, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us this evening and whenever you happen to listen to this. And until next time, it is Bim signing off from BlueSitron. Thank you. Ciao.